Hey everybody, today we are going to be talking about Breasts and Eggs by Mieko Kawakami. Before we start, this is Ponyo. She is 2 years old today, it's her birthday, and I just wanted to have her say hi to you guys before I got started since it's her special day, huh? You say hi. You say hi? Okay. She did not want to be on my lap. Okay. Breasts and Eggs by Mieko Kawakami. This book is split into two sections, book 1 and book 2. Book 1 is about 150 pages, and then the rest is book 2. In both of these books, the main character is Natsuko Natsume, and her sister is in book 1 as well as her niece. Her sister's daughter is in book 1 as well. They're also in book 2, but they are the main part of book 1, and then for part of book 2, they're not in it as much. And so it's mainly in the perspective, well, it is in the perspective of Natsuko, and she is a writer, and she's kind of having a writer's block. She is trying to write her next novel, and she's having a really hard time really getting it there. In the first book, before she's struggling with her writing, that's mostly in book 2. So backtracking, in book 1, her sister comes over with her daughter to stay and to visit Natsuko and to have some time with them, but mainly the main reason is that her sister wants to get a boob job. And so she wants to talk to her sister about it, and her sister doesn't really care so much to hear about all of this, doesn't really get why her sister feels like she needs it, but just kind of lets her talk about it and just kind of like, oh, like not really being non-supportive, but also not being like, yeah, go for it either. She's just kind of like in the middle. And her sister is showing her all these pamphlets, and she's like, this is the place I've decided to go to, it's the best place. And so she's like, she's really seems like she's thought this through and is really committed about doing it. And all the while, Midoriko, her daughter, is not speaking to her, is not speaking to Makiko, who is Natsuko's sister. And so she feels really bad about that because she's like, I don't know, she just stopped talking to me. And she only writes messages in a notepad whenever she has to say something to me. And it's been going on for like 6 months or something. And she thought it was just going to be a phase, but then it just kept going. And so that whole situation is going on, and she continues it while she's there with Natsuko, and so she doesn't talk to her either. She just writes things down in a notebook. And meanwhile, we're also getting those blurbs from her journal, from Midoriko's journal. So we're seeing her perspective, and she is completely against the idea of her mom getting her breasts augmented. She doesn't think that it is necessary. It seems stupid to her. She's like 12 at this time, so she's just like, this doesn't make any sense to me. This is so dumb. Why is my mom doing this? Book 1 I actually really liked. I was kind of wanting it to last longer. I liked book 1 quite a lot. This going back and forth, getting these journal entries to kind of get inside the mind of a 12-year-old girl and what her thoughts are on her family and her mom and her mom's decision. And then we also get how they interact with each other, the three of them, while they're visiting Natsuko. And yeah, I just really liked how that played out, and I was kind of sad that it just like 10-15 years ish like goes by between book 1 and book 2. Like, well, maybe not quite that long, but like a lot of years have gone by, and then book 2 starts. So like Midoriko is now like college age, so she's able to she's out of that phase of not talking anymore, and she's talking to her aunt and to her mom now. And in this second book, it's the one that's based more on the eggs part of this book, and that is, now we're really focusing mostly on Natsuko now. And this is when we find out that she has a editor that just kind of picked her up one day and is trying to kind of help her with her book. And then we find she has a friend that's also an author, and so they kind of bond. And all throughout this time, Natsuko is trying to figure out if she wants to have a child. And the thing is, she's single. And so in Japan specifically, it's really hard to do artificial insemination. Did I say that right? It's really hard to do that there because they believe that you need a mother and a father. And so you have to go through these steps of showing that, yes, we tried the normal way and we can't get pregnant, something's wrong, we need to try it this way instead. And so if you're not married and stuff, then that makes it so much harder for you to be accepted, because they are like, the kid needs to have two supporting figures basically. And so there's other places that Natsuko was researching that would let her do it without her needing to be with somebody else. Like, there's ways that she would be able to be allowed to do it and just be a single mother, and that's what she wants. She does not have good experiences with sex in general. She does not want to, she was only with like one other partner for a decent amount of time, but there was this barrier that she could not get past. She just knew she wasn't going to be able to be the best that she could be for him, and a lot of it had to do with sex. And so she basically isn't trying to get in a relationship with anyone because she just feels so deeply that this is a huge part of relationships, and if she can't do it, if she can't handle it and stand it and be an appropriate partner for someone, she just feels like she shouldn't be a part of a partnership at all. And so I understand that kind of thinking, but I also feel like there are people out there that you can meet that can feel similar to you, and you can make it work without having that be a part of your relationship. She's like in her late 30s, getting close to the age where like the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be to have a healthy pregnancy and things like that. Like, she can't wait for a chance to meet someone that's going to be able to understand how she feels. And so she researches, she finds these books, she finds these this event of this man who is someone who was created in this way, and so never knew who his real father was, and was trying to find his real father. And he didn't know that his father wasn't his biological father until after until he died. So when his dad died, then they told him like, oh, he wasn't your real dad anyway. And he was like, what? And so there a lot of children that were born this way that didn't know who their parents were would go to these seminars and go to these different places, and women could come and ask questions about it. And that's where Natsuko finds more information about if she should go through with this and if she needs to contact other places besides Japan so that she can actually make this work. So Aizawa is the man that she just really resonated with when she read his information about how he was trying to find his birth father. And she ends up talking to him personally, and they end up emailing back and forth, and they end up getting this really strong friendship while she's trying to figure out what she should do. She goes through a lot of different routes on trying to figure this out, and she also talks to a lot of people who figure out, like her sister and her friends, that find out this is what she wants to do, and they have differing opinions. Some of them are like, what are you thinking? That's crazy, do not do that. While others are like, you should go for it, this would be amazing, and think about it, you could write it into like a book, you could like have your real life experiences help other people who are going through the same thing. Like, this is great, you should go for it. And so she really just has to figure out what she wants to do and how she's going to accomplish her goals. Does she really want to be a mother? She also meets another character who is dating Aizawa, and she also was going through the same thing. She didn't know her father either. And she has a conversation with Natsuko that is completely opposite of anything, where she was like, I didn't need to be born. I don't even know my dad. My mom just chose to bring me into this world. I didn't have a choice. I didn't say I wanted to be born. None of us get the choice to be born. We don't get that choice if we want to live or not. It's crazy. Nobody should be doing this. No one should be having people come into this world without them even being able to choose if they want to live here. And so I never even thought about that, because it's like, Well, yeah, of course we don't have a choice to be born. It's impossible. I mean, unless we're talking about, you know, spiritual and heavenly ideas of there being heaven and of there being the possibility of you in heaven saying, yes, I do want to be born, and I pick those people to be my parents. Ready, go. And like, maybe we do have a choice, but we can never know that. And so I just thought that was an interesting perspective of this. And so anyway, I'm rambling too much now, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Breasts and Eggs, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I liked the first story a little bit more because I did like reading those journal entries from Midoriko and getting a 12-year-old's perspective on things. I thought that was nice. And then but I also enjoyed book 2 as well. I feel like some of the reviews I read, they felt like book 2 was like way less good as book 1 and stuff like that. But I don't really think it was like so much worse. I just, you know, personally, I liked the book 1 a little bit more. But I also really was intrigued and interested in, I've never read a book about this before, about going and getting a donation at a sperm bank and having a child that way. Like I don't really know very much about that subject at all because I've never looked into it, and it was really interesting reading all the ways that this character went about getting information and deciding if this is what she wanted to do, if she wanted to have a child this way. I just really liked the way that we kind of went through this with her, and being a woman that doesn't have kids yet but wants to in the future. It's just, I just kind of found the whole thing interesting of of everything that she was discovering as she was thinking about this. But yeah, anyways, yeah, so if any of that sounded interesting to you, then check this out, pick it up and read it, and then you can tell me what you think about it as well. And yeah, thank you for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.